Camera settings to use and what camera settings I should use for real estate photography is a big question that I get asked a lot, really, or for anything interior wise. So we want our ISO to stay at 400. We don't want anything really, really grainy, which is going to mean a bigger number. We don't want it to be, or the camera to be too desensitized to the light. So I think 400 is a very good range. Once you've got 400 set on the camera, do not touch it. There's just no need. Things like aperture, which is basically the iris of the lens, or the floodgates, which allow light to hit the sensor. Keep it somewhere around the 7.1 mark. You can go to f8 or f9. Anything above that, it's just overkill. Anything below that, you get the kind of the smartphone blurry background effect, which is very, very popular now, to replicate what some of these more expensive DSLRs and mirrorless cameras are doing. So if, anywhere between 7.1 and f9, pick your poison, and then again, like the ISO, just no need to touch it. You just don't need to fiddle around with it. Things like the shutter speed is the only thing you're really going to have to change. So I would kind of experiment with that. The shutter speed is going to obviously allow light to hit the sensor with that whole chink noise. Play around with it. That's generally the only thing that you would really need to touch. The external flash, it's good enough to keep on ETTL, which is electronically through the lens, just very, very fancy terminology. That's the automatic setting. With that flash, again, you're pointing it upwards and behind you. You do not want to put it, facing directly into the room, because that's just harsh shadow territory and it just looks really horrible and, not aesthetically pleasing. Another good quick tip is making sure that your lens is set to either 10mm or 16mm, depending on what kind of camera you have. Many times, a lot of photographers, they go in and they shoot and they've knocked the lens and it's, 24mm or 35mm, and then it's like, oh, why isn't it looking as big as possible? And it's like, well, you've actually just knocked the lens and you've zoomed in. So make sure that everything is zoomed all the way out. 400 ISO, 7.1, change the shutter speed accordingly, and then the flash is just upwards and behind you, and you'll get a pretty good image, I'd say 99.9% of the time.